Howdy there, folks. It's Geist with another Destiny 2 video. Today we're going to be showing a little bit of gameplay with the Malfeasance. Here's my shotgun I'm pairing with that. Stompies, of course. We're also going to be discussing a couple things about the Malfeasance. First and foremost, you probably don't see this a lot in the Crucible. That's just, it's a 180. 180s are definitely not the most popular archetype of hand cannon. But Malfeasance has a couple of neat little things about it that I've always liked. It's always been enough to make it my favorite hand cannon, even if it's not exactly in the meta archetype. But it's got the explosive slugs. If you stack 5 shots onto somebody, they blow up. Doesn't matter what resilience, doesn't matter how far away they are. And that's kind of the most powerful thing going for it, is those slugs. It doesn't have any kind of a range drop off, so it's a very forgiving TTK for a 180 because you can just land 5 shots on any distance and it'll kill them. It's also really great for shutting down supers. Now, we're talking about the Catalyst here today and the fact that there isn't one yet, but Bungie said that they were planning on adding a Catalyst for this thing sometime between essentially start of Season of Lost and Witch Queen. So I'm hoping here we're going to see it within the next couple of months. We may not see it until, and I would imagine we would, since Witch Queen is supposed to launch in February. I would imagine that the Malfeasance Catalyst is probably going to drop somewhere in the next couple months. I can't imagine it just randomly dropping in January. That seems a little too close to Witch Queen, but I could be wrong. So I think what we're looking at here, though, is probably November at the earliest and maybe January at the latest for when we would expect to see this Catalyst. Now I'm going to kind of talk about what I think it should get. While I would love for this thing to get something a little more consistent, like say have the detonations go off every 4 shots, that would be pretty cool in Crucible, but obviously that could be a little bit overpowered. Now it's only a 1-second time to kill even on those 4 shots, but the fact that it can happen at any distance and the fact that it's going to be so forgiving because it's all body shots, it might be just a little bit strong for it to have that 1 second. I think in order for it to be balanced, it needs to be just slightly longer than 1 second, which it kind of already is. I think the 5-shot TTK there is about roughly, it should be about 1.25 seconds. But it could use a little something extra, and I can't really say what that is as far as Crucible is concerned, because I'm afraid that with what Malfeasance can already do, it could become extremely overpowered if it gets something that's too much, especially for Crucible. And we know they're not going to balance it independently. They've really only done something like that with Stasis, and I highly doubt they're going to do that with this hand cannon. So, first and foremost, I think that the biggest thing I would like to see is, originally in the patch notes or in the data mined stuff that the data miners found, Malfeasance was supposed to, there were 2 different catalysts we were going to see. The first one was just an increase in range and stability, which was just boring. There was nothing to that. But the second one was something that was called Boom. Now I don't really have anything to validate this to say whether or not this is true, if it really was going to be something, or if somebody maybe just drew this up. But supposedly what happened with Big Boom was whenever you killed a target with Malfeasance, there would be a final massive explosion. The keyword there is massive. I wonder what massive means for that. But that sounds kind of neat to me, because especially from a PvE standpoint, something like that, you know, you kill a basic enemy, it's going to detonate. If that detonation does enough damage to kill something else, it's going to chain react, and you're going to get a bunch of massive explosions. That would be pretty cool. I think in general, though, I think I think that would be a very fair perk to give it. It would make it a lot more. Malfeasance already has great boss DPS. If you haven't seen my other video, you should check that out. It shows what Malfeasance can do with Lucky Pants. And that makes Malfeasance amazing for damaging bosses. So it's already got the boss DPS to it. It's already really good against Taken, which are some of the most annoying enemies out there. What would be cool is if it had just a little bit more ad clear, because those explosions, when they go off, they can damage other enemies around them, but they have to be standing in very close proximity, like within a couple feet, if not touching each other, just to actually make those land. And even then, they don't always necessarily do enough damage to kill that next target. They might just tickle a little bit. It kind of depends. But what I would say if that big boom were a thing, that would make it really good for PvE. It would make it have that ad clear, and it would kind of be just sort of a jack of all trades type of weapon. And then if you pair it with Lucky Pants, then it's also going to be great for boss DPS. As far as PvP is concerned, I think that 180s in general need just a little bit of a bump in firing rate. That would be the only thing I could think of. And you know, we don't want them to have too much range, because then there's not going to be any point to using the other two archetypes of hand cannons. You know, let the 120s be the kings of range. I'm fine with that. Let your 140s be your best all-rounder hand cannons. And you know, 180s, their strength is obviously their stability and their ease of use and their forgiveness. With the 120s, I think you can do one headshot and then 2 body shots on middle tier resilience guardians, but for the most part you have to land 2 headshots and 1 body. With 140s you have to land all headshots, and with 180s you can do 2 and 2. So they have the most forgiving time to kill, and in the case of Malfeasance they have the most forgiving time to kill period, because at long ranges you only need to hit 5 shots period, and none of them have to be headshots. But even still, I think just cranking up their rate of fire just a little bit, you know, maybe not a 180, maybe make them a 190. It's just some small number like that, just to bring that TTK down into like 0.9 something. I think it would make 180s feel a little bit better overall, and maybe even a little bit lower, maybe even more like a, well, no, not a 0.8, because I believe our 140s are currently sitting at a 0.87. So we don't need them quite that fast, but maybe just a little bit quicker, and then that's going to make Malfeasance feel a heck of a lot better, because that 5-shot body time to kill is going to get lowered to almost 1 second, and I still think that's fair. I think it's fair that Malfeasance would be able to do that at any range and have a decent time to kill while doing that. It's not overpowered. 1 second time to kill is not overpowered. And by the way, this is really great for supers, as you're about to see right here. And you'll see it again here in a second. I'm going to shut down another super with it. But that's another strength of Malfeasance, is the fact that it has that ability to shut down supers as well. It doesn't really care what the target is, because it deals so much damage compared to other hand cannons because of the stacking effect. But I think they have to be careful with what they give it, and I think that's why they've taken so long to do this. I think, you know, it's definitely one of the most requested catalysts out there, and this is definitely a weapon that not a lot of people are making content about, and I guess it's just because it's, out of all the exotic hand cannons, it's probably the weakest, except for maybe Lumina. But Lumina has some interesting builds that you can do with it. I think that maybe people just, and there's plenty of people that are interested in it. That's actually the whole reason I made this video today. I'm not exactly a huge YouTuber. I don't get a ton of views, but of all my videos, my Malfeasance videos have far and away the highest number of views. So if that's what you guys like seeing, I'm just going to keep doing these Malfeasance videos. So you just let me know in the comments if that's what you want to see more of. If you want to see more gameplay of me just running around with the thing, by all means, I'll do that. I got a pretty decent game here with it that I recorded. And I'm hoping that it gets a decent amount of views. I hope you guys enjoy it. But back to the Catalyst. I really want it to have something good for PvE and PvP. I would love for it to have a detonation on 4 shots, and that would be good for boss damage too, because it means you get an entire extra damage burst there, because you get a 5th explosion combination instead of just 4. But I think for something like Crucible, it could be just a bit too strong. I mean, I don't think so. I think it being able to 4-tap at any range is very strong, but it's still only a 1 second TTK. I think maybe, like I said, just the increase in RPMs, maybe just a little bit. That would really help the weapon. And 180s in general, I think 180s do need some kind of a buff, and I think that's probably going to happen, because 180s have always been kind of the black sheep of the hand cannons, and I think that at some point Bungie is going to do something to them to make them a little more viable, and when that happens, I think that Malfeasance will benefit from that. whatever does end up happening with the weapon, I hope it's something interesting. I hope we get a really cool catalyst. I'm excited to see what it is. It's easily my favorite hand cannon in the game, and it definitely deserves some love. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If you want to see some more Malfeasance gameplay, just let me know. I'll keep going with it. But as always, folks, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.